Tom Aspinall has finally had enough of Jon Jones and has broken his silence. For weeks, the heavyweight division has been buried under chaos. Critics arguing, fans battling each other online, reporters stirring drama non-stop. And in the middle of all that noise, Jon Jones has been louder than ever, taking shots at a man who never once disrespected him. A man who treated him with nothing but professionalism. A man who waited over a year for a fight Jon walked away from without hesitation. But now that Tom Aspinall is injured, now that he's been forced out because of an eye injury doctors called dangerous, limiting, and possibly career-ending, suddenly Jon Jones finds his courage. Suddenly he is calling Tom weak. Suddenly he is mocking him. And the MMA world has been watching this unfold like a wildfire, waiting for something they've never witnessed before. Tom Aspinall finally snapping. Because the truth is, this story didn't begin with an eye poke. It didn't start when Cyril Gaines' fingers drove into Tom's eye. It didn't even start at UFC 304, when Tom stood in the cage seeing double, head throbbing, trying to figure out whether his future had just vanished in front of him. This started the moment Jon Jones realized Tom Aspinall was a real threat. The moment a new heavyweight arrived with freakish speed, frightening power, and a calm, icy confidence that shook Jon, even if he never admitted it. It started the day Jon Jones watched Tom demolish opponent after opponent and felt, deep down, that the next generation had arrived sooner than he expected. And instead of confronting that reality like a champion, Jon Jones faded away, ducking interviews, sidestepping questions, avoiding matchups, leaning on every excuse he could find. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall stayed active, stayed committed, stayed ready, while Jon Jones stayed silent. Then, when Jon finally returned, he did it the only way he knows, by twisting narratives, bending the truth, and going after the one man who held the division together in his absence. Tom Aspinall listened quietly to every insult, every accusation, every smug shot about him quitting or lacking heart. He heard Jon laugh at his injury. He heard fans repeat the disrespect. He heard people question his toughness, despite being the same fighter who has taken short notice bouts, stepped in as a backup, begged for challenges, and never once backed out of a fight. Tom Aspinall has been one of the UFC's most reliable and dedicated heavyweights. And somehow, he became the target of one of the laziest smear jobs the sport has seen in a long time. But everything shifted the moment Tom shared his medical update. Everything changed when he revealed his eye wasn't just bruised, it was seriously damaged. When he explained that one eye isn't even tracking properly with the other, that he's dealing with neurological issues, that his vision is unstable, that he's seeing specialists because his injury could affect him for the rest of his life. Suddenly the people calling him a quitter had to swallow the truth. Suddenly their entire narrative fell apart.
And he's waiting around for Jon Jones for a whole year, over a year. Career on hold. Despite the fact that he told everyone, look, this guy ain't going to fight me. He's going to retire before he'll fight me. So you might as well just give me the title now. But unfortunately, the UFC, they wanted to believe that their GOAT was the man that they bigged him up to be. And they were wrong. And after working his whole life to become UFC heavyweight champion, this was the way it was announced.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
All right, Dana, calm down. Don't get too excited. And that was in the middle of the night in some random-ass UFC press conference. No ceremony, no celebration, no congratulations, Tom. We've got the best young fighter in the world. It was as if no one gave a fuck from the UFC. It was so bad. And I get Dana was pissed because he'd been made to look a fool by Jon Jones. But that was never Tom Aspinall's fault. Tom just wanted to fight the best guy he possibly could. And you'd think MMA fans would love that. There's a fighter who's trying to fight the best, wants to win the title, wants to defend the title and be an active heavyweight champion, something we've not had in God knows how long in the UFC. But no, because Jon Jones weirdly has a lot of fans who want to see him protected and not get his chin smashed to bits, they supported the guy who ran away from the fight and trashed Tom consistently. What a weird fan base.
Allowing himself to be missed very much because the moment he left, he came right back. And by the way, I have no problem with all of this. We never had a problem with any of this. It was the fact that he was holding up the division, holding up the belt. Everyone said, please stick around. Stick around as long as you want. Just give up the title so other people can realize their dreams. Fun fights, one-off fights, legacy fights, super fights, all day. You're bigger than the title. Jon Jones is bigger than the UFC heavyweight title. He's bigger than any title. There's only a couple of guys who are bigger than the title, Jon being one. If Tom would have beaten Jon, the fact that he beat Jon would be bigger than him becoming UFC heavyweight champion.
Situation looked like Curtis Blaydes came to beat Tom Aspinall up that night. Tom throws a kick and magically gets hurt. I would expect a fighter to at least attempt to stand back up or at least limp. And with Tom, he was just completely just out of the fight. And his last situation with Cyril Gane, he gets poked in the eye. Normally you see fighters that are doing this number, trying to get the doctor to look at it. And actually, initially the doctor's just like, he seems fine. Tom's like, no, I can't see. The guy wasn't trying to see.
Yeah.
The guy didn't want to see. The eye that he was covering appeared to be the eye that actually didn't get penetrated. One eye finger goes all the way underneath the eyelid. The other eye, it was on top of the eyelid. And he ends up grabbing the eye where the finger was on top of the eyelid. I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. So that alone shows me a little bit what's behind the facade of this whole Tom Aspinall character.
Suddenly, Jon Jones wasn't a confident champion calling out a rival. He looked like a man taking cheap shots at someone fighting to save his career. And when Tom Aspinall realized people were still calling him weak even after hearing the truth about his injury, something inside him finally snapped. The calm exterior disappeared. Tom Aspinall finally fired back. Not with childish insults. Not with false bravado. But with raw honesty, the kind that comes from a man who's been swallowing disrespect for far too long. He said he's tired of having his heart questioned, tired of being lectured by people who've never walked into a cage, tired of fighters pretending they would have pushed through nerve damage, blurry vision, and neurological symptoms when they weren't even there that night. Tired of Jon Jones pretending to be the king of the division while refusing to face the one man who could truly test him. For the first time, Tom Aspinall didn't sugarcoat anything. He said what every fan had been thinking. Jon Jones had a full year to fight him and vanished. Jon Jones only talks when he knows he won't have to actually back it up. Jon Jones is brave on Twitter, but silent at the negotiation table. Jon Jones waited for Tom's injury before finding the courage to run his mouth, because that was the safest Jon has ever felt. The irony was brutal. Jon Jones, a man who has avoided the biggest heavyweight fight of his career, calling someone else weak. Jon Jones, whose own career has been constantly interrupted by injuries, mocking another fighter's medical situation. Jon Jones, who has fought exactly one heavyweight in this era, for a total of 2 minutes, claiming Tom should have fought blind. Jon Jones, pretending to be the alpha while avoiding the one threat he couldn't control. But Tom Aspinall is done protecting people's feelings. And when he finally spoke without filters, he didn't sound broken. He sounded like a man who's been pushed to the edge and is now fighting back with everything he has left. He said he's finished carrying the division while getting disrespected by people who haven't earned the right to say his name. He said he's done pretending everything is fine while enduring weeks of insults, lies, and fake narrative from people who weren't even in the arena when his vision disappeared. He said he's done being treated like a stepping stone when, in reality, he was the one keeping the heavyweight division alive. And the scariest part for everyone watching, Tom said this is just the beginning. He promises coming back with a different mentality, colder, sharper, more dangerous. The polite, soft-spoken giant is gone. What's left is a man with nothing to prove, nothing to hide, and nothing to lose. A man who is ready to tear through anyone who doubted him. And the first name on that list is Jon Jones. For years, people mistook Tom Aspinall's silence for weakness. They misread his respect as faith.